Well, the Bismarck Bobcats are having one of their best seasons in franchise history, and one of their most influential team members spends their time behind the glass. And it's how she has gotten to this point in the game that stands out the most. If you could see life through the lens of Hope Magelky, you'd see a whole lot of hockey.
I love hockey.
The Dickinson native has spent 12 years as the Bismarck Bobcats team photographer.
It's really special. I don't know how many jobs you can do that with. I have a little splice of two things you really love in it, so I feel really lucky.
Now Magelky is creating her own opportunities on the ice in a sport that she never played until she was 27.
The feeling of I get to be involved in the sport, take the photos, whatever, but I never really had a choice of I could play hockey if I wanted to.
That's because Magelky wasn't offered the opportunity to play sports.
So I was born with cerebral palsy.
Right away, Magelky faced challenges as a child with spastic CP, a disorder that causes muscle stiffness and difficulty walking.
I've always been ambulatory, but you were always, you're always the last person to be picked. There was nothing naturally, athletically gifted for me. It was just more difficult.
After high school, she began taking photos for the Bobcats. It was there that she saw a booth for an adaptive sports program, so she decided to strap into a sled.
I was like, wow. So I can actually play sled hockey. I can play hockey.
Magelky's ambitions were high from the start. After spending some time in a sled, she moved to goaltender. And just 6 months later, she tried out for the USA women's national sled hockey team.
Being on the women's team was always a goal of mine.
2 years in a row, she didn't make the squad. Then COVID hit. In 2021, Magelky finally broke through.
I'm the first female ever to be on the team from North Dakota, and that's special.
Now that she's on the ice, representing the U.S. is priority number one.
You kind of pinch yourself. I mean, it's still the fourth season, but I think anytime I get to put on that crest, it's a huge honor.
Not far behind that is the biggest objective of all: getting women's sled hockey into the Paralympics.
There's a lot of obstacles in the way. You're talking about ice time, you're talking about money, you're talking about equipment. Look how people view disability in different countries, and then you take that and you're a disabled woman. That can even add an extra layer to all of that.
There's lots of layers, and only so much one person can do. Magelky says the biggest way to grow the game is through smaller international competitions, and hopes that word spreads and others fall in love with the game the way she did.
Even if, say 2030 comes around and we're in the Paralympics and I'm not on that team, at least we had a hand in helping get there, and that's really the end goal.
Well, Magelky says right now there's about 5 international teams, but they have to get to 8 before the International Paralympic Committee will consider adding women's sled hockey to the Paralympics. So still on the horizon.
That is an awesome story. Thank you so much.